All right, Barbie. Barbie, where are you from originally? Where'd you grow up?
Delhi, California.
Where's that?
It is in the Merced County. It's up north towards Stockton.
Yep. Tell me about your family growing up.
I just had my parents, my mom and my dad. My mom worked, my dad worked, and then he got injured at work, so then he started doing drugs, and then my mom started doing drugs whenever they divorced, and then she got remarried and married somebody in the military. He had 2 daughters already, so I was an only child, and then I met like my 2 stepsisters, and then one of them got killed in an accident when she was 12. She was riding her bike, and they ran her over, and she got killed instantly. Yeah. So yeah, that was
Sorry
like pretty
tragic.
And then my mother passed away whenever I was 19. So, and then my real father passed away like 16 months later.
How would you describe your childhood in general? Sounds pretty rough.
Yeah, I mean, I was an only child. I was like too jealous of like sharing my parents. I didn't want them to have more kids. So I was like, when my mom asked me if she could have more kids, so I was like, no. I told her no, I didn't want her to. So I was just like pretty spoiled, like got everything I wanted pretty much.
So pretty good childhood.
Yeah, not too bad. I just remember like it was hard whenever my mom started like using drugs and stuff because she would leave me alone, and I hated that. I wanted to be with her all the time. I like loved being with my mom,
Your mom was into drugs?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit there, yeah. But she ended up like coming back with me and stuff, and just being on like prescription pills. So she got me introduced to those too whenever I was like 13.
What kind of teenager were you?
Just like kind of like, I guess you could say promiscuous, because I had like a boyfriend that was older, I always had an older boyfriend. Not necessarily a hoe, but just like I was having sex early, I guess you could say, with somebody older.
Was there any sexual abuse in your childhood?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, I mean, not in my family or anything, just like the guy that I got with that broke my virginity, I was 11 and he was 16, so that was kind of weird, you know? I didn't think that was appropriate.
When did drugs start for you?
Whenever I was like 11, I started smoking weed. And then pills at 13, OxyContin, Percocet. Stronger stuff like that. And then once my mother passed away, I started doing like meth and street drugs, heroin.
How old are you now?
35.
35. Do you have children?
I have 1 daughter.
And where is she?
With her dad.
And you've been living on the streets for how long?
I want to say like 15 years.
You look pretty clean for someone who's lived on the streets doing drugs for 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, I honor myself a little bit, like I try to stay clean as much as possible. I love being clean. I love showering. Like, that's my favorite thing to do. So I hate being homeless, but I don't know what else to do, really. I can't really work, I mean, I could work. It's possible. I don't know how to put myself into doing that, I could blame it on like the mental illness and stuff, and like anxiety disorder and social anxiety and all this stuff, and like the trauma just from finding my mom dead, that kind of bothered me a lot, but she never made me work, so I never I just was thrown out into the streets, and I was forced to like find my own way of survival.
When did your mom pass away?
2011.
How old were you?
19.
19. How did she pass away? From drugs?
Heart attack. It was actually a heart attack.
And how are you surviving now? How do you make money?
Prostitution.
And you're living where? In the tent or?
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you see yourself being here for?
I hope not.
What's keeping you from like trying to go to rehab or something like that?
I enjoy doing drugs, I guess, more than I enjoy being sober.
That'll do it. Tell me about the tattoo on the side of your face.
It's my boyfriend's hood.
Let me. If you turn
SSM. It's Southside Montebello.
So your boyfriend is in a gang.
Yeah.
And he's letting you stay here on the streets? He's on the streets too? Did you ever have dreams of doing something else with your life?
Sure.
What did you want to do?
Be a cosmetologist or like a stripper or something, you know? Something classier than what I'm doing on the streets. you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, you certainly could do that, but the drugs are what's keeping you here?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far did you go to school?
I got my GED in ninth grade. I dropped out in ninth grade. I got my GED when I turned 17, actually. So, yeah.
Do you see your daughter? Do you talk to her?
No.
You don't.
No relationship with her since she was 4. I totally lost all contact with her. I got too high to pick her up from the babysitter one day.
That's how you lost her?
Yeah. And now her family kind of like disowns me. They don't remember me, they say, when I call. So they're pretty mad at me.
What are your drugs now?
Just meth.
Just crystal meth? Mm-hmm. Do you have any real friends?
Not really.
Do you have any regrets in your life?
Yeah.
What are your biggest regrets?
Just, ever getting high, stuff like that. I wish I never knew about it. I wish I could have done different, got a job and stuff and just been a normal person.
Right.
With a normal rent payment to
What
make every
do you
month.
think is keeping you from doing that? Because you certainly look capable of...
I guess I just need to do it. Maybe I could just try it. I don't know, really. I think it's just I think I'm not good enough maybe in some ways.
Yeah, the self-worth.
Put myself down, yeah.
Yep. What would you say is your greatest strength?
I'm a good friend. I'll do anything for somebody that I care about.
If you had your life to live over again, what would you have done differently?
Just stayed away from drugs and probably stayed away from the boys that I chose in my younger time.
Was your father in your life?
Not really, no.
So you never even had a father figure?
Not really, no.
What do you worry about? What are you afraid of?
Just I guess getting tortured or something or suffering.
You're living a dangerous enough lifestyle to do that.
Yeah.
Working as a prostitute on Skid Row, what kind of money do you make here?
Not a lot.
You could be making a lot more in other neighborhoods or in other ways. Mm-hmm. This is the bottom of the barrel.
Yep.
What makes you happy now?
Just listening to music, putting my makeup on, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Is this kind of just an escape from the regrets you have or the childhood trauma?
Yeah.
Is that what the drugs function as?
Yeah. Escape, yeah.
Yeah.
Or to fill the void.
You've never talked to a therapist before?
I have.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
Was that helpful at all?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, how old are you again?
35.
35. Do you see yourself being here 45, 55?
I hope not.
What's going to change?
I hope that something changes where I just start giving up the bad habits and going to church or something.
Right, but what do you think might change your...
I don't know. I hope it doesn't take, me dying or something, to get there, but not to be dramatic.
Yeah, but it almost seems like that's what's going to be required to get you to change. You have every reason to make a change in your life, and you seem capable. Mm-hmm. Barbie, what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your 35 years?
Just not to trust too many people.
Yeah, Skid Row is pretty horrible, isn't it? Mm. What kind of guys pick you up here?
I don't even know, all kinds of guys. A little bit of all different walks of life.
Yeah. How does it make you feel?
It feels good whenever they pay, That makes me feel respected a little bit.
Right.
But when they do me wrong or rob me or ditch me or, don't pay me, that makes me feel like garbage, It's the worst feeling in the world, just failure,
Yeah. All right, Barbie. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Mm-hmm. I wish you lots of luck out here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When I was designing the first Soft White Underbelly book, I realized that there were so many great portraits that weren't going to make it into that book. They just wouldn't fit. And once I saw how well that first book sold, I knew I'd have to design a second book. This second book is finally ready to ship. Like the first one, this book has a collection of some of the best portraits from Soft White Underbelly, accompanied by a quote from that person's interview. This book features another group of Rebecca portraits, as well as a collection of color images of the Whitaker family, and plenty of others. You can order yours for $125 or $150 for a signed copy at softwhiteunderbelly.org. Again, like the first book, once this book is sold out, I will not be printing more of them. The portraits are what Soft White Underbelly is all about, and these two books contain the best of all that work. Thank you for watching.